Since August of 2019, FNCS has been the lifeblood of Fortnite competitive. Without fail, it provides us with a spectacle of the highest caliber of gameplay every season. Though not every FNCS story is made equal, so in this video I will be going over the 6 greatest FNCS wins of all time. Quickly, for context on the criteria of my rankings, I will be ranking each by how good their viewer experience and player feel was. This means that the closer and more intense FNCS wins will naturally be favored, with some absolute shows of domination also making appearances if they were truly that great. Also, to keep things simple, I will only look at NA and EU. Let's be real here. Unless you are one of the 3.5 people from OCE, nobody cares about OCE FNCS and vice versa for other small regions. All that said, now to the rankings. Starting off at number 6, I have Queasy and Vino's win in Chapter 4 Season 2. Going into this FNCS, Queasy and Vino were already a well-established team on EU and they were heavily favored to win. To give you an idea how favored they were to win, in a prediction game hosted by Aussie Antics, 57% of the 2,500 participants had Queasy and Vino as their first place pick. So with the best drop spot on the map and a history of good performances behind them, it was safe to say that they would win. However, nobody expected the level of dominance they showed on that day. They won 6 out of the 12 games, with 5 of them being consecutive wins, tying the record for the most wins in an FNCS Finals lobby, all while in the hardest region in the world. And this was all done with their last 4 games being a wash, likely because they stopped trying their hardest. So just imagine how much further they could have extended their dominance had they taken their last 4 games seriously. However, because this FNCS was a show of domination rather than a nail-biter, it was a bit sleeper by the end, which is why it's at the bottom of this list. Next in number 5 is Day, Miro, and Reverse's win in Chapter 2 Season 6. This FNCS was heavily focused on 2 teams, the aforementioned Day, Miro, Reverse, and Scented Edgy Commandment. For the majority of the tournament, Scented's team was in the lead, looking to finally break their second place curse. But going into Game 11, Miro would pull off one of the most insane solo clutches in FNCS history, closing the gap and leaving Reverse's team only 4 points behind Scented. Both teams had pretty shaky last games, but in the end, Reverse's team would just barely edge out Scented's team. So this FNCS was pretty close, but not the closest. But what makes this win truly iconic is what happened before the tournament even started. One day before the finals, Reverse would make a now famous video going over his thoughts on the upcoming tournament and the teams playing. He would boldly trash talk every team, speaking his mind about what he thought of the competition and putting a target on his back by doing so. And unlike most instances of trash talk in Fortnite, Reverse would walk the walk and back up his claims when his team secured the win. This FNCS was iconic on NA, cementing Reverse's spot in the Fortnite Hall of Fame, showing the world that Day and Miro were the best controller players of all time, and unfortunately continuing what would be a tragic second place curse of Scented, Edgy, and Commandment. Now these next 3 were very hard to rank and to be honest are all interchangeable, but before that, if you are enjoying this video so far, drop a like and sub, thanks. I won't give ties, so number 4 goes to Tayson and Mustache's win in Chapter 4 Season 1. This FNCS was a nail-biter, coming down to the final moments of Game 12 between Malibuca and Thomas HD, and Tayson's team. Whichever team outlived the other secured the win. As if the stakes weren't high enough, all of these players were previous teammates of each other, with Tayson dropping Thomas HD due to some off-spawn beef, and Mustache splitting from Malibuca to play with Tayson, and the Game 12 showdown would not disappoint, with the fraggers of both teams being Thomas and Mustache going down. It was all up to Tayson and Malibuca to survive long enough to clutch the points needed to win. In the end, Tayson would survive just ever so slightly longer than Malibuca, netting him the FNCS win by a single point. This win only added to Tayson's GOAT status, being the 5th FNCS Grand Finals win of his. It would also be Mustache's first, a title he had long been deserving of, and Thomas, yeah, I don't even know what to say, he's just cursed. Third, I have Commandment and Avery's win in Chapter 3 Season 3 FNCS on NA. In retrospect, this is probably one of the most stacked FNCS wins of all time, back before NA East and West merged. Miro was looking for his 6th FNCS win, Peterbot and Bilo were poised to go back-to-back, Cold was on his unprecedented come-up, and Clix was looking the best he ever had with the star player Dukes on his side. and the spectacle that was put on did not disappoint. Going into the final game, only 32 points had separated the top 3 teams: Commandment and Avery, Miro and Booga, and Pamstu and Fatch. Avery went down early, leaving Commandment the solo clutch. However, Miro and Booga, who were leading by 20 points, went down in 20th, leaving the door wide open to be overtaken. Commandment would pull off the clutch of a lifetime, surviving all the way to 6th place as a solo while racking up elims, including one on Tapney not even half a second before he went down. Through all of this action though, Pamstu and Fatch were very much alive and healthy. Being the lowest of the 3 teams on the leaderboard, they would fight through the lobby and secure the win. Due to what had just unfolded, nobody knew who won, and when the leaderboards were finally revealed, it was shocking. Commandment and Avery would win by 1 point, meaning that the elimination that Commandment secured just before going down won him the tournament. Only 3 points separated first and third, the difference of a few eliminations or placements. In second place, I have Tayson's FNCS All-Star Showdown win. Going into this FNCS, Tayson was widely regarded as the best solo player in EU. However, what almost nobody expected is a relatively unknown player by the name of Vino to also pop off in the tournament. Prior to this tournament, Vino was only well known for being the guy that got Aqua and CRR disqualified from FNCS because his account got banned for being bought off the Fortnite black market, though this would all change in this tournament. Going into the final game, Tayson and Vino were far ahead of the rest of the pack, with Vino only being 3 points ahead of Tayson though. It all came down to the last game, but the showdown we got was something nobody expected. Both players survived long into the endgame, healthy and stacked on loot. They would eliminate the rest of the lobby. This meant that the final fight of the final game of the tournament was between first and second place. Whoever won this fight would win the tournament, and in the end it was Tayson who managed to hit the shots and close out the fight, securing him the win, cementing his spot as a shoo-in for the Fortnite GOAT debate. However, if you thought a tournament coming down to a 1v1 between first and second in the final game was crazy, then what about second place dropping on first place at LAN? To nobody's surprise, number 1 is Kami and Seti's FNCS Invitational 2022 win. It's hard to say anything about this that hasn't already been said, but for a quick rundown, going into the final game, it was a clear 2-horse race, and while most of us just expected each team to try their best and play out their final game, we would instead get the surprise of a lifetime. Second place Queasy and Vino would switch their drop spot to land on Kami and Seti, who were in first. Whichever team won the off-spawn battle won the tournament, and the fight that ensued was legendary.
What is this? What is this? Queasy, Vino are trying to take it by force!
You only win in one way, and that's taking that crown! Vino is here! Queasy is here! Down goes Seti! It's a big trade! It's a one-on-one! This has to be one of the most explosive head-to-heads we have ever seen! Vino has to get this thirst here. He knows now it means everything. We might as well seal this deal! Why wait?
Bubble shield going out. He's trying to bait it. He's trying to bait the revive so that way Cammy might peek. Breaks through the wall. Shot's gonna be fired! And they do it! Become Legends are on top!
Become Legends has officially managed to win the biggest fight!
This moment is something I don't even think could have been scripted, unlike World Cup. Jokes aside, that is my list for the greatest FNCS wins of all time. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, follow all my socials. Thank you, and have a good one.